Hello. Okay, guys, I hope that you all can hear me now, and we'll just wait for a few seconds. We'll start the session. Right. So in the meantime, if you have any question, so there's a chat box at the right hand side of the of the YouTube screen for you, or maybe if you're using from mobile, there would be a chat option somewhere. So you can ask your questions there. In the meantime, I'll just wait for a few other people to also join the live session, and then we'll start the complete session again. Right. So perfect. Okay, so I see a lot of people already who are joining in, and just give me like a couple of minutes, and then we should ideally be starting the session. So, yeah, good evening, Devala, AMCAT, Infosys, etc. Which course I have to join? I will cover that at the end of the session, ideally. So don't worry, whatever questions that you have, you can get all of those. Regarding the the TCS. People are asking that when is their technical interview round and everything. So we have already updated that on our website. Let me utilize this time for that amount, and then I'll show you all the results. So yeah, as you can see here on the TCS Ninja results page, we have updated all the information on when is the interview for whatever uh, colleges that we get to know all this. We are updating on this page constantly. So you make sure that you bookmark this page, and we'll just go ahead with that, right? So this video would be ideally for 1 hour, and we'll try to cover everything that we can, and we'll give you all the relevant links from where and you will be studying that, right? So before other people join in a few things, I would like to tell you. Let me switch down on a few things that are already there. Okay. So let me start with one thing. We've gotten a lot of love from a lot of people regarding after the TCS Ninja online classes, and approximately 80% of the questions in the exam were repeated or were almost of the similar pattern that what we had given, and even with the coding, it was almost the same. One more thing, we've been constantly saying that PrepInsta is the number one website for placement in India. This is not true, or which is true. Yesterday we took a all-time high of 14 lakh views on the website, and we are not just the most visited website for placements, we are most visited websites for education all over the world. We have yesterday we had more traffic than byju's.com itself. So really thank for all the love that you've given us. And so a lot of people are asking that what other online classes do we have to join. So I'll cover that in the whole 1 hour session that we'll be having for TCS, and don't worry. So let's just start the session. Already 500 people have joined us, right? And again, thank you for so much love. We are a small team, and we did not expect such love. Even the nearest competitor that we have has 40 times less traffic than PrepInsta has. So we are the market leader. We are the most visited website for education all over the world. It feels great to be and proud to be the founder of that website. Let me also introduce myself. I am Atulya Kaushik. I'm the founder of the website. And just to let you know, because why you should be listening to me, I'm a passed out of VIT Vellore, and I had 8 different on-campus offers. Two of them offers were more than 10 lakhs, and I got placed in the offers which were of the bulk companies: TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, and Accenture. So I think I would be the most ideal person to whom you should be listening to. and to share all the experiences that I had with placements, we've started with this. So, okay. Okay, so I'm just reading a few questions here. So let's just start with the session, right? Okay, so how is the interview pattern? Earlier last year, the interview was of about 25 to 45 minutes. But this year, since we've spoken with a lot of people who had joined the online classes and who had their interview yesterday, they said the interview timing has reduced to 10 minutes to 15 minutes, and it has a different pattern for CS and IT students and for non-CS and IT students, right? So we'll cover all of that in detail. There are 3 rounds. Let me just move the screen so that other information can be displayed to you properly. Okay, so there are 3 rounds in TCS. There are and which are clubbed together. So you will have an interview panel which will range from 2 to 4 people. Ideally, what we've seen, some people had 2, some people had 4. Most of the people had 3 panels. And the first panelist is TR, the second panelist is HR, the third panelist generally, maybe at times it is present, maybe at times it's not there. MR may be present, may not be present, but there will be at least 2 to 4 people sitting in the room who will be taking your interview for about 10 to 15 minutes, and one by one they will ask you questions, right? So a technical interviewer will ask you technical questions, the HR interviewer will ask you HR related questions, and the manager interview will ask you stress based questions, which are really important. And uh, there's a lot of confusion. You would ask that what is MR, and we don't have any idea, so don't worry about all of that. There's an HR and MR section at the end of the video. Plus, there is something really amazing that we are going to give at the end of the video. So just stay tuned for about 50 more minutes with us. We'll tell you everything that you need to know for TCS. Right. So let me have a look on the questions. Okay. Why there is a bond? Stop spamming and. Okay. So I think there are no relevant questions as of now. So people can post questions if they have, right? So what is ideally TCS testing in all of you guys? You should know before anything we are telling you. They are testing that, first of all, TCS is an IT based company. So they are adamant that you should know coding. Even if you are a non-CSIT student, there is no escape. You cannot tell them that I am a non-CSIT student, I don't know coding. They expect you to know coding, and plus you also cleared the coding round that was there in TCS, and a lot of questions were also repeated from that, right? So they expect you to know one procedural language. Generally, most of the people who know this are, are good in C, and one object-oriented language, which it will be C++ or Java or Python in all of your cases. And this is common for all CSIT and non-CSIT students. So make sure that you know all of that. Okay. And there are 2 types of interviews also. Some people who are in big cities will have face-to-face interviews, and some small cities will have video interviews. So your college will arrange all of that information. So some people who are from small cities, you don't have to travel to different places. Your interview will be conducted on a Skype like platform, right? The second thing that they're expecting you to know is to be aware about the general IT trends that are going on. So I'll cover all of that in later. The third thing, ideally you should be having, according to TCS, because I'll tell you in the video later, ideally you should be having mini projects and at least some kind of projects to demonstrate your teamwork and efficiency qualities. So make sure that you also write your mini projects and projects in the resume, because they are going to ask you questions from that. And your resume should not be blank, it should have projects definitely, right? Apart from that, definitely, since you will be working in a client facing organization, your 50% of your work on any given day would be to speak to people in US, in UK, Australia, and all other English speaking continents, and you have to be very good in communication skills. You cannot escape from that, and that is something that they are testing. Even if let me tell you one thing, even if you are a good coder, you may not get selected. Even if you scored 100% in the written test, you will not get selected if you don't have this. You should not stammer, you should have confidence, because ideally you want to speak to the clients and you have to explain them your point of view, and learn what they are trying to tell you, right? Apart from that, the fifth one is your core subjects. So CSIT and people will be asked questions on their particular core subjects, and non-CSIT people will be asked one or two basic questions on the basis of their core subject. Generally they ask you that what is your favorite subject, right? And then they start ahead with asking all of the questions that you have, right? So we'll also cover that in detail. And let's just start with the next slide. And this is the most important information. No one has that, and which is why PrepInsta is the number one website for placements. And only we have this secret information that we've gotten from people. So whenever you're giving the online test, even the TCS interviewer is also grading you, and he's grading you in a scale of 10, and there are three interviewers, so everyone will give you marks out of 10. So this is important, because ideally you should be preparing based upon this particular information, how you should track your interview, or how you should do that. The tech in the technical interview, first 10 marks will be given on the command on procedural language, right? I'll tell you what kind of questions that they can ask from this, but first it is important to know the syllabus. No one gives you the syllabus for the TR round or the technical interview round. Only PrepInsta does that, and I'm sure other websites will be there now which will be copying us, which they have already, right? And everyone knows about it. So then there is command on object oriented language, which is basically they will and generally non CSIT people will not be asking questions, will not be asked questions from this particular thing, but CS and IT people will definitely be asked questions on this, like object oriented programming concepts. Okay, then the third 10 marks that will be given for technical round. So total is 40. Here they will divide it by 4 and then calculated. So let me tell you later. So they'll give you 10 here, they'll give you 10 here, and then they will ask questions from your branch or projects. That is common for everyone, right? And the fourth place in the technical interview is verbal communication. So let's say if someone scores 8 marks here, if someone scores 8 marks here, if someone scores, let's say, 8 and 8 again here, so 36 divided by 40, your final score is 8. And if your cutoff it is more than your cutoff, then you will be clearing the sectional cutoff for the technical round also, right? So let me have a look on the questions that are being asked. Yes, signing the bond is important. You cannot leave the company. I think they have a 24-month bond, and you have to pay around 1 lakh rupees. I'm not really sure about the months and all, but I think in my year when I was in my college, it was 24 months and 1 lakh rupees. That was the bond. And any IT company except Cognizant, all of those follow this bond structure. Okay, then this managerial interview, he will ask you questions which will demonstrate your time management skills. So for example, he'll ask you questions that give me an example of one instance in your life wherein you did not complete your project, or you did not complete your presentation or your homework that you were given in your college in time, and what did you do to make sure of all of that. So I'll cover this in detail also later on. The second thing that the manager is checking, and he's the actual project manager, the person who is ideally taking this MR interview, has worked in the IT industry for at least 10 years. Okay, the TR may be like a software engineer or a senior software engineer, and you will be joining as an associate software engineer. So he's ideally worked between anywhere between 3 to 5 years, and this person has worked anywhere between 10 years. The HR are, generally, if HR round, they are basically checking, I'll tell you all of that later, but they are basically checking that are you culturally fit. This is the most important thing. You should be culturally fit, you should be disciplined, you should be willing to relocate. A lot of questions, you will thank me later, all of the people who are joining this online class, but willing to relocation is the most important thing. They'll ask you questions which will demonstrate your work ethics, and your dress code will also be checked here. So you should ideally be you should obviously take bath and then go, right? Smelling good with not a lot of perfume, but at least decent perfume, and buttons closed. Watch is important. There was an HR that we spoke to. We asked them that on dress code, what do you what all do you look for? They said, I personally, because this is a different for different HRs, right? What that HR particularly told me is that she looks for if he's wearing a watch, if he has an handkerchief. So which is weird, but that particular HR told me if his clothes are clean, and if he has perfume, and she cannot smell you, but yes, you should not have more, you should not have less, right? You should be presentable here, right? So yes, you can use different kind of soaps, Akshay, Bharadwaj, in that case. So let's go ahead to the next one, right? General information. Let me tell you one thing: your resume is God. Your resume is God. Your resume is going to decide how your interview will go, because they will take your resume and then they will ask questions from your resume itself. And if you have mentioned, so a lot of people, and especially computer science people, do this. They mention DBMS, and then they mention Android, and then they mention let's say Python also, and all of the other, and then PHP and all. Okay, but when the interviewer asks them questions, they don't know that because they've only studied it for 1 or 2 days, and that too they are not in practice. So only mention what you know in your resume, and same thing goes for the non-CSIT people, that don't mention topics and chapters as your technical skills. So a lot of people also mention MATLAB and things. So you will be asked questions from MATLAB. One question at least from, if you all the software that you mentioned for your particular branch. So make sure that is also there, right? So let's go ahead to the next slide. And let me, yes, this is the most important thing. And this is, I've intentionally kept this slide blank. And I don't think that there is more important thing than what I'm going to tell you in this particular slide, as compared to whatever is will be going on in the whole complete video. There is something that I follow, and personally, it has worked for me always. There is an interviewer, and then there is you. Interviewer is interviewing you. That is wrong. Okay, if that is going, then something will go wrong in the interview. You the Go from this kind of psychological concept that the interviewer is not interviewing you. You are letting the interviewer interview you, and you are letting him ask questions that you want him to ask him. So for example, he is asking me about, tell me about yourself, and I tell him about my family background, the class, the projects, or not projects, let's say what are my hobbies, what achievements I've made in life. And just before closing my statements, I will mention project, being a computer science student, and I will mention I implemented that project with agile methodology, and I did that on purpose. Now he's going to ask me questions about agile, because he knows agile obviously more than you do, but you've already prepared that already last night, and you're going to ask. And now, since he has heard something that he is aware of, and he thinks he's right now thinking that he's very overconfident right now, that you said agile. No, now let me ask you questions about agile only. But the point is, you gave him a clue that please ask me questions about agile, and you did not say that directly. You just left a little breadcrumb. So, for example, you can do that, and also, what I will mention: stand in a front of a mirror for about 1 hour and practice the interview, and go to your strong points always. Always your strong point. So I was really bad in stacks and queues, and I was really good in trees, linked list, and graphs. And the reason, and generally these are easier than this, but I did not prepare that because I knew he's eventually going to ask me questions about trees and linked lists when I was preparing for companies which were paying more than 10 lakhs, not about TCS, right? So I used to talk randomly out of the blue. I would talk about my projects because that was one thing that I can talk about anytime, and I will tell him that I implemented this using trees. Now he has heard trees, and that is my strong topic, so he's going to ask me questions about that, right? So I'll tell you all the other psychological aspects of the interview later on in the HR section, but yes, this is one of the most important thing. Okay. Also, someone has mentioned that should you shave or should you not. First of all, I think if you can shave, it would be a good thing, but it's not that if you have beard, and if you have kept your beard professionally and well trimmed and you're looking smart in that, you know you can show off your beard as well. It's not that you cannot do that, and I think that also shows a degree of confidence. A lot of people will think having beard will show a lot of negative aspects, that you are into fashion and all. This is your personal lifestyle. Why he's the interviewer, he should not do anything regarding your personal lifestyle, right? He's just judging you based upon your qualities in technical and HR skills, right? So make sure that you do all of that. No, you can edit your resume. The point is, you can give him the resume. Even if he's looking from the resume that you've uploaded, just give him your resume, sir. I see you seeing the resume that I have uploaded in the online portal, but this is my updated resume. So I request you to check this. So this also shows your confidence that you are asking questions in the middle of the interview, right? And it is demonstrating your positive skills, right? So this is one of the things that you should follow. Next, today I spoke to at least 40 different people who gave interviews yesterday, and this was the most asked questions. 10 people said that they were asked questions from this concept, and most of them were non-CSIT. So this is the most important part of the interview that you will be having. What is pass by value and pass by reference? If people who already know what it is, you can also answer that in the chat section that we have. And yes, sports is a good criteria that you can demonstrate. I'll come to that later on. So what is pass by value? Okay, so as you would all know, there are two things in computer science. One is the address and one is the value, right? So, and let's say the address here is 2002 and the value here is 4. So there are, if you want to take anything from here, there are two ways you can do this. Either you can refer the address and then approach by value, or directly you can put that value in wherever you are doing that. So pass by value is basically, if you see here, that you are calling swap A and B, and this A and B values you've already declared, they are stored in some address also, but we are not aware, or we are not worried about what that particular address is, right? Also, you don't ever say definitions. If you're saying definitions, it gives a lot of bad impressions. Just ask him for a piece of paper, and if this question comes, write the code, and tell that by confidence, sir, let me do one thing. I'll not tell you the definition, or I'll tell you the definition as well, but just give me a piece of paper. I'll write a simple code and demonstrate how this works. So what you're ideally doing, if you tell the definition, so your interview is 10 to 15 minutes long, and as soon as 16 minutes are there, he says, okay, your interview is over, because that is fixed already. If you just tell the right answer with the definition, you are just wasting, let's say, 1 minute of your interview, and he will have time to ask you more questions, and the answer. But if you write it on a piece of paper, ideally you can waste 3 to 4 minutes on a correct question that you already know. So the percentage of correct questions are there more. So always try to talk about a particular question that you know in detail. Don't wait for him to ask you new question. Maybe the new question that he's going to ask, maybe you don't know the answer of that, right? So it's better to demonstrate whatever you know with the concepts that you already know. So this is the most important thing. Okay, so here then you're calling this function. So what is happening here? Value 5 and 10, value 5 and 10 are being passed here, right? And whatever is happening here is irrelevant. So only this and this is demonstrating the pass by value. Okay, next let's go on. What is pass by reference? So as you would already know, one more thing, pointers is an important concept. Learn pointers, everyone. Learn pointers, everyone. Okay, so here you and a here you passing the address, so it is a good thing, because maybe in banking applications wherein 10 lakh plus transaction happen within a time of 1 second, 10 lakh plus happen in a 1 second, maybe the address, maybe if you are passing by value, and the value in that particular processing time may have changed, right? It may have become 5, but if you're passing the address, even if at the processing time whatever is happening, it is taking from the direct address where it is stored. So it is a better approach whenever you are coding, that always in terms of whenever you're working on world class applications, when you will be working in TCS, I hope all of you get placed, it is always a better approach to pass values by reference. And here you will see this, here you will see this. So here you star, when you currently the value of this is, let's say, 2002, which is the address, but when you write star, it becomes 5. So this is one of the most important questions that TCS will ask you. And let's go ahead to the next question. Okay, so this also was one of the most important question asked yesterday, and let me tell you how this happens. We'll go to into a little coding. I'm sure most of you would already know this, but very quickly I'm going to go ahead and tell you how you can do that. All right. So first, let look on the number of rows that you are required. Okay. So number of rows are 4. So a basic concept how this can be implemented is with help of for loop. So one for loop we will use to change rows, or backslash n. I'm sorry, right? So this you can use to change rows, and the other for loop you can use to print star, right? A little concept here, and your I value will start from 0. I is less than 4, because 0, 1, 2, and 3. So these are 4 values, which is why less than 4, and then I plus plus. Okay, so let's forget what is happening here, and here you are writing print f and going to the next statement and just using backslash n. So you are going into the next line, right? And here again, for I is equals to 0, or not I, j is equals to 0, obviously you have to declare int I comma j is equals to, or don't declare it anything here, right? J is equals to 0, j is less than n, and j plus plus, right? And here print f star. So this code, or less than 4, I wrote n by mistake, it's less than 4. So if people want me, okay, so it's called by address also. By reference and address is interchangeable things. It is there in C and C++, it is called reference, but in the concept when you look at Perl, Python, Ruby and all, there it is called pass by address, right? Okay, so do people want me to write this code? They can tell me, I can write this complete code and demonstrate that to you as well. So say yes or no's, uh, then I will write this particular code for you, right? So I'm just waiting for answers, and okay, so everyone said no, I'm not going to write the code. No, 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 right? Again, this is one more type of loop. Here, same thing is happening. Okay. Here, same thing is happening. For I is equals to 0, I is less than n, and then I plus plus, and then Again, one more for loop you'll write. It starts and it ends, and this ends, and you will, basically print f backslash n, and then you are changing here. Here, int j is equals to 0, and j, sorry, here we'll write 4. J is less than or equal to I. This thing you will write and j plus plus, right? So ideally what is happening, the first time the value of j is 0 and I is 0, so it is getting printed once. Okay, again now j value is 0, then I value is 1, again the loop goes, now j value is 1, again I value is 1, so it is implemented 2 times, 3 times. So the most important condition, let me write it again, for I is equals to 0, j is less than or equal to I, right? So let's go ahead to the next one, and I'll just try to help you with this. Here, what you need to do, instead of printing same concept, and all of you would know, I don't want to waste time on that. Uh, for you will include a counter, count is equals to 1, and you, whenever an internal for loop is there, you will increment the count value, count plus plus you will be doing, and then before doing count plus plus, you are printing it. So this thing will work. So basically, a lot of people would know prepinsta.com/amcat/coding questions. On this page you will find a lot of questions related to pattern, and this is a big deal. I am thinking that I'm leaking the paper of AMCAT also here, and okay, and yes, since there is a lot of traffic on the website, the traffic or the website also takes an abundance of time to load, right? So let's just go ahead to the next one. Okay, so most asked theory questions. What are the most asked theory questions here? Which are, firstly, he will ask you a basic question that rate yourself in something. This is the first question, and 90% of you will be asked this question. Or, what is your favorite subject? And right now it is for C and C++ people. Next slide is for non-CS and IT people. What is your favorite subject? And then, even all these concepts, non-CS IT people should know what is object-oriented programming, what is OOPS concept, difference between encapsulation and data hiding, what is final keyword, and write a program to check if Java is a prime, or write a program to check a prime number or not, star pattern. For Java people, this is a question that 50% of you are going to be asked: is Java platform independent or not? And definitely, what is the difference between C and C++? This is one of the most important question that you will be getting, right? Also, one more thing is there, that this is common for CS IT and non CS IT people, right? So make sure that you don't do any thing that, I'm not a non-CSIT guy, I'm a non-CSIT guy, so I don't need to know what is OOPS concept. You need to know, right? So let's just go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so this is for CSIT people only, and non-CSIT people will not be asked questions from these particular topics. Let me just move ahead quickly from this one. Basically what is polymorphism, what it is, inheritance, data abstraction, encapsulation, constructors, destructors. You can also take a screenshot of this one, and let's move ahead to the next one, because a lot of because ideally I want to teach non-CSIT people. Okay, so if you see, right, for ECE people. So now let me tell you one thing: the technical interviewer, maybe from CS branch, maybe from ECE branch, maybe from mechanical branch. If he's from the, I think it's the best thing that you can do, that demonstrate your confidence. You should always cross question your interviewer. Cross question your interviewer when he's asking you that, tell me about yourself, right? So you can, you can slightly ask a question, sir. What about you? I'm sorry, I did not ask your name. What is your name, sir? You should always ask the name of the person who is interviewing you. Always ask name. That demonstrate confidence. Name of the interviewer. Go and shake hands with him. Okay, and once he tells you the name, once you identify that which one is the technical interviewer, you can ask him, sir, may I ask you one question? Which branch are you from? Okay, if he's from the same branch that you are in, then maybe he'll ask you whatever questions that he wants to. Okay, but if he's not from the same branch that you are in, what he will be doing, and personally, since I have also taken interviews for a lot of companies here. Okay, just give me 1 second. There's some issue with the slide that I'm having. Okay, I'm really sorry for the issue there. So, it's a very good thing that you ask him the name, shake hands with him whenever you go to the interviewer. This demonstrate confidence. And since confidence is also 10 marks in the interview, this will give you 10 out of 10. No one asks, 98% of the people will not ask the name of the interviewer at all. But you are asking. You also ask him his branch. If let's say you are from mechanical and a person who's from EC is asking you questions, what he's going to do, he's going to Google this. Because I have also taken interviews, and I also did that, and I asked a lot of other people how did they do that. So they will Google interview questions for mechanical engineering, and similarly for triple E and EC, learn all the interviewers which are there in the top, or mechanical engineering. You can also write freshers if you want, right? I think the same links will come again. So all these questions from the topics that are given here, you should know, because 90% he is going to ask the same questions that he's gotten on this particular website. Okay, so this is the one of the most important thing here that you should be following, right? Just give me 1 second. Okay. So also again, I think this is for the no. This is for mechanical people. One sample example on what kind of technical questions that you're going to ask. Ideally, there will be three, or CS, C or C++ questions, or coding questions in total. One from this, one from this, one from this. Some people had five also, and basically 5 to 7 minutes for technical, and again 5 to 7 minutes for HR plus MR round. So if you are wasting his time by, if there is some question that you know really well, you should waste his time ideally. That is the best thing that you can go. Okay. Okay. Can we say yes? Yes, you can say that. That's a nice name. Uh, okay. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So next one is also one thing that everyone will be asked, which is about projects. You should have projects. Else, if you don't have projects in the interview, project is something that you know about 100%, right? Since you've implemented that and you have already prepared about it last night. If you don't have projects, in that case, he's going to ask you more technical questions, which is really bad for you if you are not very good in technical. So you should have projects. First of all, for CSIT people, draw for even non-CSIT and everyone. Let's say a triple E person is there, you should know if your op-amp or whatever circuit diagram was there, you should completely know each and every circuit diagram. They are asking people to draw circuit diagrams on paper, right? So this is one of the most important thing they are asking. And then if let's say op-amp is in your circuit diagram. So, and he's an EC person, and even though you are from EIE or EC, so he will see op amp is there, or let's say Zener diode is there, or whatever. Then he will ask you questions from your particular branch, and questions that what is op amp, what are different kind of circuits, and Kirchhoff's law. I'm a CS person, so I don't know really into that concept. But yes, whatever components are there, he will ask you questions from that. And ideally, if you have achievements that you participated in a in something and to demonstrate your project, then you should tell him that. So, for example, there was one person who had this architecture diagram. Okay, so let me do one thing. I'll teach you guys here. Okay, so whatever if you see, let me present it completely. There's some issue with the pen that I'm having, right? Okay, so also all diagrams, algorithms, all basic definitions you should definitely know, and he will ask you questions from the topic that is related to your final year project or mini project or sub projects or whatever, right? So make sure that you know all of that in detail, right? Okay. Then there is IT awareness. Then this manager will be asking you about this. And what IT awareness is basically, since you have a chance for TCS Digital also, they will personally, the interviewer will recommend you that should he be sending you for additional interview for TCS Digital also. So he will ask you questions about what is machine learning, what is deep learning, what is cloud computing, what is IoT, and augmented reality, big data, and cybersecurity, and all the others. So make sure that for at least 2 to 3 hours you learn all of those, because only I think that is the most important thing. If you want to go for TCS Digital also, the manager is going to recommend you. This is some insight that we have gotten from internal people. The manager is going to recommend you for TCS Digital. So make sure that you know all of these, because he will ask you questions about that. Okay, so let me check if that issue is fixed there. Okay, so the MR questions would be stress questions. Stress based questions are the most important and the most famous. He will ask you questions that push you out of your comfort zone. So, why did you score less in class 12? Okay, this is one of the most important question. And personally, even I was asked that, because I had a very good marks in class 10th, and even my CGPA was really good in my engineering, but my class 12 marks were less. Okay, so what you can do here is, ideally, that your answer should be first accept. Yes, sir. You pointed that correctly, perfectly. My marks in my class 12th exam are really less, and I don't think that I can give you any excuses about that. I must have prepared really well, and ideally, I should have gotten more marks, but I have improved in my engineering. He may ask you questions also like, why are your marks less in engineering? So you can say, let's say there was some, so for me, hardware was a subject there where I could not score really well. So, I told him that, hardware was a subject wherein I did, the first basic subject of hardware, I was not able to study that because I was, really ill, and I had, some particular disease at that point in time, which was true. So I missed the basic concepts of that subjects, and, eventually the advanced concepts of that subjects, I could not do really well in that particular exam, right? Also, do you read? What kind of things that you read? He's going to ask you questions. So for example, if you say that, I love to read novels, this happened with one of the person. He was lying that I love to read novels. He asked him about the name of some novelist. She said Sydney Sheldon, and then he asked her the name of five Sydney Sheldon novels or books. She was only able to name two, right? So make sure that your hobby is also justified with your things. Okay, one more important, the most important thing here, out of 40 people that I spoke to, this was a standard question. Like, the about 35 people, not 35, at least 90% of the people were asked similar concept question, which were non-CSIT, that if you get a job in ISRO, DRDO, BAIL, and TCS, what would you do? Now, you, first of all, if you tell him that I am going to join TCS, now he will know that you're trying to lick him, right? You're trying to you're trying to favor TCS and you're lying, right? So just tell him which what is the truth, right? First of all, tell him, sir, ISRO is a really big organization, and it's the best place in India to work. Scientists are there, and I don't think personally I will be able to learn anything better and contribute to my country any better than if I work in ISRO or DRDO. And it's like the NASA of India. It cannot get any cooler. And also, sir, if I ask you the same question, right, I think you will again choose ISRO. But I don't have any plans to do GATE or apply to ISRO or DRDO or BAIL as of now. So TCS is something that I really want, and I will want to join TCS only, right? And thank you for a question. It was a good hypothetical question, and if that happens, definitely ISRO. I'm really sorry, but yes, right now I want to join TCS because a lot of always lie about this. A lot of friends and my family members work in TCS, and they've told me a lot of about TCS, and I'm really fascinated to join TCS because they keep on talking about the company and how good that company is, right? So which is why I want to join TCS. Then he may also ask you, this was asked today from one person, only one person, who's the finance minister of India. And I'm not sure this was out of the blue or things. And this was also one more standard question. Suppose you have any project on which is totally new for you, and then what resources are going to help you. So for this, your answer should be, if something is new, I will not implement it first. I will do my research for about, if that is a big project, let's say for TCS, I will take at least 1 week or 1 month to plan and to study it, because that is new, right? If I start from basic unknown concept, that will be implemented incorrectly, and crores of money of TCS can get wasted because they will provide me with the human resources and people who are going to work in my project. So planning is the most first important thing that I'm going to do. Internal yoga of technical things, right? So answer this. Again, basic standard question: how do you work under pressure? So you can say, sir, what you can give an example of wherein you had pressure, like there's a very good reply to this. I think every engineer in India can work really good under pressure, not just me. And it's also humorous. Tell him why: because all of us prepare only 1 day before exam, right? And I don't think there is more pressure than that if you complete 6 month course in 1 day. So I think I can work really well in pressure because I have scored good, even though I've mostly prepared, and even the interviews also studied 1 day before the exam. So that is what we do every time, right? Okay. So the HR interview also, first HR interview, introduce yourself. Why do you want to join TCS? Now, why do you want to join TCS is the most important question. I think the ideal thing is, first talk about TCS, that TCS is the largest employer in India, and it has really big projects the other day. So also one more important thing in news, TCS got the largest project in the world for about 2.5 billion. And tell that I was really fascinated that I was reading that TCS is the largest company in India. It has 8 trillion market capitalization. And talk about facts of TCS, and I would really want to associate myself with this particular company, and plus talk about that your seniors and your family friends are working in that company, so you and they are your idols. So you want to follow your idol into a company like TCS, and create a career and work really hard. Also, they ask you questions based upon TCS, like who's the CEO of TCS, and how many people work in TCS, what was the TCS revenue for this particular year, and all of that. So make sure that you know all of those. Okay. So I think that is there. Okay. So most important thing. And girls are definitely asked these questions. Are you willing to join at an location? So for example, let's say you are from New Delhi, and then they tell you that are you what if we give you a joining location or training location in Chennai, what will you do? So even if you want to say no, right, you can say no later on when TCS asks you. Right now say yes, anyways that is not going to impact you. But you know, work culture, one point that I showed you, I'll show you that slide again. But there you are, especially girls are going to are going to get marks in this. Plans to do MBA, say no. What I used to tell that, my parents have invested a lot of money in me, and they provided me the best education, even though they were not that economically stable. I don't think I can put more burden on them for an MBA, which is really costly. I want to start with my career as soon as possible, and TCS would be the best place. So I have no plans to do an MBA. Night shifts, also definitely they will ask you questions about night shift. All the guys, all the girls, the best answer to night shift is, okay, as being an engineer, sir, I have had multiple insomnious nights, and even my efficiency is better in the night, and I think night shift would not be a problem for me. And also tell them that I have heard from my seniors that if you work in night shift, you get more salary. So I think if I get more salary, and night shift is also comfortable because of my affinity to work better in night, I think I will be able to save more money for maybe buying a car or buying a bike, and it will really help me. Also, since we were talking about buying a car and bike, one person was asked this question: where do you see yourself after 5 years? Now everyone is going to answer bullshit. Okay, really bullshit. That I want to do certification, I want to do this, I want to learn this language, blah 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 blah. If you answer this, if I was the interview, I will give zero on that. Okay, I did not ask you that where do you see yourself after. This is a mugged up question that you saw on the internet, and you are telling no, you will get zero. And the interview has heard this same thing at least 20 times. Okay, how I used to answer this question in my college is, sir, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I think, sir, personally, uh, my family is not really economically well, and my dad has this old scooter. I think 5 years from now, since my dad has invested a lot of money in me, and I want to be able to economically stable to buy him a car. So that is my personal achievement after 5 years, that I want to do that, save money so that I can make my father proud. And since it's his old age, I want to have him give him a little more comfort. So that is my personal thing that I would like to do, or my personal aim. Coming to professional aim, sir, I TCS is a very good company. I think we'll get a lot of good projects. So whatever projects that I'm getting, I would like to work really hard. And I'm sure if we work really hard, it is a type of organization that gives you promotion for your hard work. I would like to be at work hard and be at a good position in TCS. And yes, I will have to do a lot of certifications and courses and learn new languages to be able to reach that position. And that is where I want to be technically, right? So basically, you told the same thing that 99% of the people are telling, but you told that in a positive way, because you told them about your personal achievement, or where do you see yourself after 5 years, which he's taking very positive. Sai Kishore, profession is my first wife is a very cheap and cheesy dialogue. Don't say this. I would have personally, if I would have heard this, uh, even if you did really well in the interview, for me, it would be like you are a person who tries to, in Hindi we say chatta hai, right? So you are a person who goes to people, talk bad about other people, and try to gain points in their eyes, right? This is not good approach that you should do in TCS. Okay. Okay, I see a lot of guys being humorous here. Good. Okay. One more thing. If you are selected, you will know in the interview itself, right? Now, how? Because the HR will only speak to you about do you know about the service agreement policy of TCS? If they ask you this question, then you have gotten selected definitely. Maybe she forgets to ask you this question also, but in that case you also again maybe selected. But if she's asking you about service agreement and bond, then you have gotten selected 100%, right? And also one more thing, one more question that they are going to ask you is, you are a non-CSIT people, that you are a non-CSIT person. Why do you want to join an IT company? Okay, tell the truth. Just take a 10 minutes gap and tell this with disappointment. Then I am telling you that with the true things that I've heard and I've seen when I'm taking the interview, and I was impressed with a lot of people who said this answer. And tell it with disappointment, complete disappointment. Sir, I liked mechanical engineering, and I learned all of that, and I'm really glad that I'm a mechanical engineer. But the kind of industry that, or the kind of age that we are in, there are no jobs for mechanical engineer in my college. And I don't want to be dependent on my parents or do an MBA. I want to get a job. And I know my C++ really well. And yes, I will want to work in a company wherein I will learn things anyways. You give us a 3 month training that I've heard from my seniors, and you will train us, right? I am going to work really hard and learn whatever is required to be an IT engineer. And I am sure that whatever I learned as a mechanical engineer in my past 4 years, maybe if my project is about is for an airline company, or maybe a railways company which is related to mechanical, I will be able to talk to the client in a mechanical perspective or a triple E perspective. So something that I have learned will be staying with me throughout my life, and this is something that I will learn again. And I have a lot of friends in TCS, and my family members and my cousins who are working in TCS, and then who are also non-CSIT people. And they are working better than CSIT people. That is what I have seen, and they are getting promoted really, really well. So I don't think that will be a problem. I think if I do hard work and if I'm willing to learn something, definitely I will succeed. Tell this with confidence. You have nailed the particular answer completely, right? And then your again one more question, that your employment is subjected to a background check. Do you know that? Okay. So projects I've told already, queued Bhagya, that your project, you should know everything about your projects, and you should know all the circuit diagram, flow charts, because if you don't have projects, he's going to ask you more technical questions, which is bad if are not good in technical. So demonstrate a project, right? So HR is basically easy round. MR is basically a stress interview. He'll ask you questions that will make you uncomfortable, right? And it's not a bad thing. If he's asking you a question, take a pause of 5 seconds and 10 seconds and think, right? It's a good thing. I think if the student is thinking, then he's giving an honest answer. He's not come mugging up a particular thing and then telling the answer, right? Okay. So, guys, I think I was able to help you with this. After this slide, right, I will take up all the questions that you guys are having, and I will answer all the questions which are there in chat. Before that, I would like to mention one thing to you. Prep Insta did really well for TCS, and most number of students who got placed in TCS studied from Prep Insta. 81,000 people had purchased the paid material. There were like 4 lakh people. 9,802 people had joined the online classes, and more than 67,000 people have gotten interview offers with the help of Prep Insta in different companies, right? So we have 40 times more traffic than our nearest competitor, and our online classes were huge success and were rated the best, right? And now we have also again launched the online live classes for AMCAT, Mindtree, Emphasis, Wipro, Cognizant, Deloitte, and eLitmus, CoCubes, Capgemini are coming soon. And a lot of questions, about 80% of the questions in TCS were of the similar pattern. I think if you ask your friends, they will tell you that, the people who had joined that. Same is going to happen for a lot of different companies. We are really excited for the online classes. We have already abundant of people already having that. I'm sure a lot of people will be there, and we are providing, so for the people who've stayed till the end, we are providing a coupon code that will give you 1400 off. The actual price for all these online classes is 2999. I think 1000 rupees discount is running right now for everyone, so it's 1999 for everyone as of now. I think it will expire tomorrow, but for all the people who watch this online class, you will be getting 1400 rupees off. The coupon code is webinar, and the final price would be somewhere around 1500 or something, right? So make sure that you follow us with the online live classes also. And here we have the page, in the description of this video we have put the links of all the online live classes, and also we have put a link of a WhatsApp group. If you have any questions about the online live classes, just go to the description of this video, click on that WhatsApp group, and therein you can join the WhatsApp group for your preparation and ask questions to us about the online live classes as well, right? And you can call us on this number also if you want for more questions. The online classes have started today itself. Today today there was a first class for all the companies, and you can still join from tomorrow. And the today's class link we will give you, wherein you can watch the recorded session of the online class which happened today. So you would not be missing any class. You can still join this online class, and every 4 or 5 days we launch a new batch for online class. So you can come to this page again and again, and I will take questions whichever students have about the online live classes. If, just want to, there can be a confusion that it says September 8, which is today is the right now it's 8:30, so the first class of the new batch has already started. You can still join it here and join the first class from tomorrow, and today's class which you have missed, again I'm telling, we will provide you with the rewatch link of that video, and the paid material will be given to you for free anytime if you are busy for the online live classes. Not just for AMCAT, there is for Infosys and TCS and Cognizant, Wipro, every online class is there, so you can go there, right? So I'll just take up questions whichever we have as of now. Okay. So Divya is saying, sir, shall I put my area of interest in C programming? Definitely you should do that. Location is random, and it's based upon the internal political things, right? Okay, for everyone whose interview is happening, the interview is happening for TCS Ninja. First, you have to clear the TCS Ninja interview, and the interviewer will recommend you for TCS Digital while he's interviewing you. So your TCS Ninja interview is there. Probably 1 month from today, your TCS, if you are selected for on the basis of the first interview, probably 1 month later from today, your TCS Digital interview will also be there. Okay. Yes, they ask for location for three choices. Other off-campus drive batch for 2000. Okay. Guys, tomorrow there is going to be one more online session on AMCAT. A lot of people are confused that off-campus drives are happening. Off-campus drive, only happen in 8th semester and once you cleared all the exam, right? So this AMCAT online class you can join still, because approximately 100 companies are visiting your campus. 50 to 60% of those companies take the online test via AMCAT, and you would have also seen that. Okay, wearing a blazer in the interview is too dominant. Syed, if it was December, I would have told you, but don't do that. Well, it looks good, but sometimes it depends on the interviewer. He may also take that negatively. I would have taken it personally positively as well. No, you can't change the uploaded resume, right? So online live classes, I'll again show you. Some person is asking for that, and let me go back and show you. So these are the online live classes that we are going to have. Okay, so some people will be having face-to-face interviews. Some people will be having online interviews that will be communicated to you later on. No, wearing a tie is not important. Uh, yes, you can tell that this is the currently I am working on this final year project, and this is work in progress, and this is my progress till now. Yes, mention sports because they are looking for people who will not just sit on computers like a couch potato. You should also have your extracurricular activities. Basically, you are human. You have life. Okay. Yes, you can say maths as a favorite subject, but then he will make and ask you to solve a lot of problems. Uh, Core subjects, I think I think tell him software engineering is the bad. No, you cannot speak in English, Saswata. If you speak, sorry, you cannot speak in Hindi. If you speak in Hindi, you are not selected. The most important thing that I covered in the live classes before is that you should speak in English. If even if you are the best coder in India and you don't know how to speak English, TCS is not going to select you. If the resume that you've uploaded is incorrect, just tell them, sir. Even entering after the exam, as I told you, always shake their hands and ask for, and tell them, sir, my name is Atulya. What is your name? Or you are, and after that, just sit and tell them, sir, I think you will already have my resume from the campus commune portal, but that is outdated, so please take this new resume that I have. That shows confidence also. And plus, no, it's not a Skype interview. They have an internal. Ankit, probably the HR was impressed with you, and you also could speak in English, which is why you were selected. But if you speak in Hindi continuously and you can't speak in English, 100% you're not going to get selected. Hobbies, you have to create hobbies. Obviously, you should have hobbies. If you are a human and you don't have hobbies, what are you doing in the planet? One procedural language, one object oriented language, anything you should have, right? The hard You should take the two hard copies for the interview, definitely, and you should give them the interview. Always, guys, always ask for the name of the interviewer. Always ask for the name of the interviewer. That is the most important thing. 95% of you don't do that, but that demonstrates a lot of confidence. Okay. Okay, so regarding the online classes, you will be given all the paid material plus the even if you buy the paid material from the website. Online classes we provide uh, 5 times more material than what we provide in the paid material, and we don't provide it anywhere. So people who've already joined the online classes, you ask them that we tell them that paid material is not that important, but more important is one of the secret material that we are giving you, right? So online live classes, you will get 5 times more material than the normal paid material that you can buy from the website. Yes, PrepSters is the most visited website for education all over the world, not just India. Right now, we had more traffic yesterday than Byju's.com, the ad that you see on the internet, right? How was the interview panel, guys? You are asking so many questions. I'm not able to read them. Attract the interviewer. If you are not, that is a very wrong word that you are using. Attract the interviewer. Yes, crosswords is a hobby. Tell him that in my free times, YouTube surfing is not a hobby. That is being a couch potato. Don't talk about things like that. Using Facebook and using Instagram is my hobby. That is really stupid to say. Why should we hire you? That is a good question. Okay, so you can tell him that that, sir, I'm a self-motivated person. If And I am a hard worker, and I'm sure everyone that who will come to the interview will say this. But this is how I am different. If there is something that I don't know, I will make sure that I join heaven and earth to find the right answer. And I do my research, and I try to be positive at all times, and I will be positively a good resource because I, being from a non-CSIT background, I am willing to learn new technologies, and I'm very sincere and just talk about good things, and not just for give him an example. Always it's best to give an example. And I will like to give you an example. I was good in this particular sports, and I got this particular rank in this sport, but I was not satisfied with myself. So I trained really hard for 2 years, and then I got the first place in my district or my this or maybe about academics you can also talk. So finally, approximately they will be rolling out offers to 30,000 people approximately, and eventually, since many people will have multiple offers, approximately 20,000 people will be joining TCS. I have already answered the where do you see yourself after 5 years, Riya? Did you join late? I've already answered this question in very much detail. Okay, how to ask question to the interviewer? First of all, enter the interview room, and don't sit as of yet. Just maintain a little distance from the interview and tell them, sir, hi sir, my name is Atulya. Shake the hand with the first interviewer, shake the hand with the second interviewer, shake the hand with the third interviewer, and then sit down. And then ask them, sir, I'm really sorry, I forgot to ask your name. Can I ask your name? Would that be too forward? And then they'll all tell you their name, and it demonstrate a positive quality. Thank you, Sapnil. This was a good question. Shout out to Swapnil there. Okay. Okay. How to say if I have gap in interview? Gap. Okay. So Jayant is a little disappointed with a few things. Okay, I got that. Okay, guys. I think IT awareness you should do. And Okay. So I'll speak to you, Jayant, after this class. Okay. Okay, Koyal, I remember you are from the online live class that we have. I'm sure. What about my weakness? Google this and try to find the right answer. Always, always. Whenever I used to display my weakness, I used to tell my weakness, but somewhere it was also telling my positive quality, right? Okay, yes, Koyal, you're from. So I remember all the students. It's very hard to remember. We have 20,000 students totally till the online class was started till today, but a few good people I always remember. Please share your number. If you want to contact me, in the video description of this video, there is this WhatsApp group and the link to the online classes, all the online classes. Just join that WhatsApp group, which the link is given in the description of that video. There, I am also added in that WhatsApp group. I will answer your questions personally there. My name is Atulya. I'm the founder of the website PrepSters, and I'm very proud that we are the number one website for education in terms of traffic all over the world. Yes, yes, Sachin, you can do that. TCS Digital, I think 200 to 300 people more they will want to select. Total fees for AMCAT and Cognizant. Uh, uh, can you call me? I think Anand just join the WhatsApp group and ask for my number or tell them, sir, I want to speak to you on call, and then I'll call you and I'll tell you all of those details a lot. So guys, I'm really thankful. I personally got on WhatsApp because I'm connected to all of you. Most of the people who are in the online class, they have. We are a team of 40 people, but I personally want to get connected to all the students personally so that I can understand the problem. I got at least 800 messages on Teachers Day. That day, I realized that I have become a teacher. I used to think that I'm a coder and I'm the business guy of the website, but that day I realized that I'm a teacher. It was the happiest day. And after TCS results were over, about 80% of the people who had joined the online live classes had cleared the interview. Thank you, Swapnil. Thank you, Koyal. Uh, I see a lot of good messages. Okay, so guys, this video can go on till 5, 6 more hours, and you will always have questions. Join the WhatsApp group. The link is in the description. Okay, thank you, Jitendra. I, I love you back. That's what I can say. Thank you for so much love. Okay. So also we are looking for interns. Once you get selected in our company, for the people who are connected with me directly on the online class, the online classes, just let me know. We want interns, and that will be a paid internship, right? Yes, Mandeep. Today there was no online class because of this TCS class that we had to take for everyone. Thank you, guys. I really want to thank you again. I am getting so much love from all of you, and so is Manish. I like to mention my co-founders, Manish and Ashay, work equally and more hard than I do. So, I think the group has filled up. What I will do is I will after this video ends, just check again after let's say 10 minutes. I will upload the link of one more video. Thank you guys. So many good messages. So many good messages. Can you give me the permission to close the online live class now? I know that you want to see a lot of good things. Please permit me. I will answer all of your questions personally on the WhatsApp group. Just permit me. Say yes. I'll close the online live class. I'm going to do that now. We ideally we will have one more online class tomorrow, and that will be for AMCAT. And a lot of people have a lot of doubts on AMCAT, and then that will be on AMCAT. Okay. Thank you, guys.